When you're down, you learn, you become resilient, you become stronger, and you learn from mistakes. Don't wallow in them. I held my arms out like that. Luckily, I had a big gown on. And I went, oh my God, I was sweating. It was just dripping because I was so scared.
Yes. Hello and welcome to How to Fail. This is the podcast that believes that failure shows us who we truly are and what we're really made of. Before we get started on this conversation, please do remember to subscribe and follow so that you never miss a single episode. Michelle Yeoh has created a legendary body of work that defies easy categorisation. From cult classic kung fu cinema to blockbuster Bond flicks and Oscar-winning sci-fi leads. In fact, it was her turn as a harassed laundry owner in 2023's Everything Everywhere All at Once that made her the first Asian woman to be given the Academy Award for Best Actress. At the time, Yeoh said in a moving acceptance speech that, "For all the little boys and girls who look like me watching tonight, this is a beacon of hope and possibilities." Her story began 63 years ago in Malaysia, where she was born surrounded by mountains and nature. Her first love was ballet, which she learned from the age of 4, before going to England to attend dance school in Chester at the age of 15. A spinal injury put paid to her dreams of turning professional. But back home, her mother entered Yeoh into the Miss Malaysia competition, which she won. From there, she made the leap into action movies. Literally. With her impressive physical prowess, Yeoh performed her own stunts opposite the legendary Jackie Chan, including landing an aerial motorcycle jump onto the top of a speeding train in 1992's Super Cop. She was cast as a Bond girl in Tomorrow Never Dies, then starred in the global box office hit Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. For many of us, Yeoh will also be best known for her performances as Eleanor, the chilling future mother-in-law in Crazy Rich Asians, and as Madame Morrible in the Wicked films. This month sees her returning to the role in Wicked for good. In her 7th decade then, Yeoh is as busy and in demand as ever. Her continuing and well-deserved success recalls something else she once remarked. "With every turn, with every twist, and with every role, I simply said, why not? I will commit totally. I will do my best. I will be brave and unafraid of failure." Michelle Yeoh, welcome to How to Fail.
Thank you for having me. And what a title, How to Fail. Normally people go for how to be the most successful,
Yes.
the most rich, and this and that. And it's like, how to fail?
Were you surprised when you got the request to come up with it?
Yes. I was like, is there really a program called How to Fail? But actually, it's so important because you really have to be brave and not afraid to fail, because
Exactly.
otherwise you live through life doing nothing.
Exactly. Well, failure helps you grow because otherwise you never take the risk.
That's
And
right.
and I am so honoured to be sitting opposite you. I really am.
Oh,
Having
thank
followed
you.
your career as a fan, having watched your Oscars acceptance speech and cried with your words, and also having followed some of the things that you've said about failure over the course of your life, it feels magical to be in your presence. So thank you for being here. How is it being back in the world of Wicked? Is it as much fun to film as it looks to us as viewers?
Oh, yes.
Is it?
Oh, my God, yes. And actually, Wicked, while we were filming Wicked, it gave me a solid foundation of love and serenity, because that was the time when we were campaigning for the Oscars with Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I was flying between New York and LA and London, back and forth for all the, and it is a huge thing to believe in your movie and support each other with my cast members, you know. And then when I came back, it was just like straight into the loving arms of Cynthia and Ariana and Jeff and Jonathan. And you go like, oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm back here. I'm with my family, my wicked, wicked family.
Yes.
And even though I was the wicked Madame Morrible, they still loved me.
I was going to ask you that actually, because you're so good at playing mean. You're so good at playing mean and now having met you, even within 5 minutes, you seem like the most beautiful, lovely person. And when you're playing mean with people who are your friends in real life.
Oh, it's fun.
It's fun. Okay.
It's so much more fun because, you get to do all these crazy things. But I do ask John, I'm like, why do you think Michelle Yeoh when you think someone mean? And, I remember when we were doing Crazy Rich Asians where I played Eleanor, the mother, right? And he said, your eyes turned black when you said to her, you'll never be enough. I was like, John, seriously? And of course, he calls me horrible. You see? That's it. You think I'm horrible. He's like my adopted son.
Okay.
I love him to death. So that was an incredible journey. And there was also humor in it. I think that was what I truly loved about John's focus on each character had their moment of emotional depth, but at the same time, there was always a little bit of fun and humor, and it comes across, So going on that set is there's always singing and dancing.
I was about to ask you about the singing because you were very reticent at first to say yes, weren't you? Because you knew you'd have to sing.
I called John and said, hello, this is a musical, right? And I don't sing, right? And then next thing I knew, he sent a video he says, I have two special friends who wanted to say hello to you and they want you to, listen to them. So it was Ariana and Cynthia, and we had not met before at that point. And they said, Michelle, it's imperative that you come and join us now. I mean, how do you say no to Ariana and Cynthia? Right?
Exactly.
But I must say, my first singing experience was really supported and encouraged by Cynthia. She really, really helped me out there. Because, when you hear them, they're like angels.
Mm.
And so then when we were doing our song together, The Wizard and I, and thanks to her, I'm actually on Billboard 100.
Are you?
Yes, because Cynthia's song got on there, and I did a little intro with her, right? And so when we were singing it, and the girls always sing live, even though Cynthia is like how many feet in the air and doing somersaults, she is singing live. Wow. She's amazing. And I remember when I start the song, I literally just squeaked it. Because, we had recorded it and just to give you a sense of comfort. And Cynthia came up to me and she goes like, she held my hand and she looked at me and she said, I know you can do this. I've heard you sing. So please sing. So, I listened to her.
Well, we're so grateful to her and to you.
Oh, yes, I'm grateful to her.
I wonder if we could talk about your mother.
Oh, my God. That's a real character there. I mean, she is the real diva here.
Well, I mentioned in the introduction, because you had this experience very early on of failure, actually, when you were 17 and you thought you were going to be a ballerina, but you had an injury. And it was your mother who entered you to Miss Malaysia and sort of changed the course of your career. How important has your mother been to you?
Well, she's a force, full stop. I mean, she is very dynamic. She's 84 now, but if you saw a photograph of her, you'd think she was like in her early 70s. And she's always glamorous, always dressed up. And she would look at me and go like, are you going out like that? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to the gym, Mom, seriously. And she's always been like this, just reminding you to look your best, be at your best and all that. And sometimes I think it's good to have that, but sometimes it also makes you, I was a people pleaser. I was afraid to do things or say things that might sound wrong or sound right. And it undermined you would think that it would make you more confident, but actually it undermines it a bit. Because every time you're going like, oh, I don't look right. For fear of sounding not smart enough or something like this. But I also feel that, with Asian parents, especially moms, they try to have their children be seen and not heard. And we will always, the girls should behave like girls, like, not make loud noises and things like that. But so my mom instilled that in us. And like, it took me a while to go to her and say, actually, it's not true. We can speak our minds, and we don't always have to agree with what everybody else is saying. And it is important that I believe in myself in that way, rather than just say yes, because, that doesn't rock the boat. I think she would have made the perfect diva. She would have she sings beautifully. She would have been a great actress.
When did you find your own voice and the courage to say that to your mother? How old were you?
Oh, I was, I think at that time, I think I was getting my divorce.
Okay, yes.
Because, she's very traditional. And she was going like, no, you should just listen to your husband. And I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, if you love him so much, why don't you marry him?
This is your first husband.
Yes,
and
Dixon.
We'll perhaps get onto it a little bit as it pertains to some of your failures. But one of the reasons I was so looking forward to meeting you today is because we have a story in common. I also got divorced, and I also tried and failed to have children.
Then we have a lot in common in that way.
And I feel so grateful to you for talking about that particular story, because you can only understand it if you've been through it.
Yeah, yes. And my mom didn't understand that at that point. So, so it did. And I think it's something that first of all, you have to be brave enough to accept and not feel like a failure. And at that point in my life, I did feel like that. I did feel like, I'm supposed just to do one thing all women are capable of. Why am I not? Why have I been singled out too? Did I do something wrong? And, and that's the thing is like, mom put the fear of karma into you. You must have done something wrong. You didn't do this right. So that's why you're paying for this in that way and this way. And you go like, no, stop. Because I don't believe that. And if I did something wrong in my past life, I hope I paid for it then.
Yes.
Right. And so, but we do believe that, good will pay forward with good. So at that point, I did feel like a failure of a woman. There's like one of the most natural things for women to be able to do. And I think when you come to accept the fact that it's not your failure, we all have different physicalities, but some are very, very different indeed. And it shouldn't be a feeling of loss in that way. So finding yourself and believing that, you can move forwards. Because nowadays, I was very lucky. My sister-in-law said, here, have one of my children. And I'm like, okay, guys, stay back. And then my best girlfriends, they were like, so now I have 6 godchildren.
Yes.
At that point, they were all sharing their children with me. And I think from there, I learned love in another form, right?
Beautiful.
It's like, how did you cope with yours?
Well, so beautifully put. I think I've realized that you can feel sadness and be at peace with that sadness, and that the sadness is part of life, that actually it's taught me so much, and my life is so fulfilled in so many ways. And I decided to start concentrating on the love that I did have rather than the love that I didn't, or that I thought I wanted and yearned for.
Right.
So I've got married again, like you. He has 3 children. I have lots of godchildren. I have nieces and a nephew. So there are so many children in my life.
Right.
And in this lifetime, I believe that part of my purpose is not to have children in the biological sense, but to mother in other ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that. I think you open your hearts in another way. I think when you are just a mother to your own child, it becomes a very sort of overprotective, empowering, almost selfish kind of love that you share with only one. Maybe it was a good lesson in the sense that now I shared that one love with so many others, and we now have a grandson.
Yeah. What's that like, being a sort of step grandmother?
I don't see, because I get on very well with my stepson. I actually call him my boyfriend. And
Do you?
He goes around introducing, that's my dad's wife and my girlfriend. Everybody goes,
that's amazing.
Did you just say girlfriend?
This is a whole other podcast.
So we get on very, very well together. And, and I'm very blessed to have that kind of relationship. I think the most important thing is what I feel is like he sees that I love his dad and, for who he is and what he is. And it's vice versa. We're both very independent. We're both successful in our own ways. And so, and there's no, I think sometimes in a relationship, there shouldn't be any rivalry. Who's better than who, or, why are you more successful or, better known, blah, blah, blah. So in that way, we're all very comfortable in who we are because we all have had failures, and learn to live with it. I truly believe ups and downs is like a heartbeat. You can't just have one way, right? That would be a flat line.
Yes, you wouldn't be alive. Exactly. That's such a great metaphor.
Yeah. So, it's important to, when you're down, you learn, you become resilient, you become stronger, and you learn from mistakes. Don't wallow in them, move forward. I believe in always moving forwards because if you stay still, you're just stagnant and you're just waiting for the inevitable.
Well, talking of moving forwards, let us move forwards to your failures. Your first failure, what I appreciate about them, they were just very straightforward, no context, and I can't wait to find out more. Because the first failure is stage fright. How did you discover that you had stage fright?
Oh, very easily. Every time I have to go on stage to I loved dancing. So if I had to perform on stage, it's not a problem. It's speaking on stage. And it is something, unfortunately, I have not overcome. So that's why I still see it as a failure. It's like now, it's a little bit of a stage fright for fear of not coming across as being a little bit intelligent or funny or something like that, or not saying the right things. So rather than not say anything and be like a wallflower.
Well, let me reassure you that you're coming across exceptionally. But I'm aware that you're speaking in a second language. So do you still have stage fright in your native language?
Hell yes.
Right.
It's just about being on the stage and suddenly, I think it came out very clearly when I received my Golden Globe. Are you allowed to swear?
Yes, I welcome swearing. I love swearing.
Golden Globes was the first big nomination for me personally as an actress by your peers, right? Just to get the nomination you were so blown away. And you think, at that point, we all just went, just to be nominated, I'm already over the moon, right? And you don't have expectations, even though you pray quietly, right? And then you think, oh, shoot, if they really actually call my name, what the hell, man? I'll be so scared to go up on stage. So when they did call my name, I walked up on stage and suddenly everything goes zing. I forget my name. I don't know what I'm there for. And the first word that came out of my mouth was, shit. And then I realized everybody went, oh, like that. And then I turned around and go, oh my God, you're not supposed to say that. And I turned back around and said, fuck. So that was my big intro and how I realized you still have stage fright. And then it's constant because even when I go on press tours and things like that, when you have to go on stage, and when they say a few things, say something like that, I would agonize. Like the night before, I won't be able to sleep just because I know I have to go on stage. So you prep yourself, you keep prepping yourself to make sure just to say that one or two sentences without, my heart goes. And one time it was hysterical. I held my arms out like that. Luckily I had a big gown on and I went, oh my God, I was sweating.
Were you?
It was just dripping.
Oh my God.
Because I was so scared.
Yes. Well, how did you cope with the Oscars then?
Not well. You saw?
I mean, it was so beautiful, though. I love that speech.
You.
It was amazing. I would never have known.
I think it's because it came from here. It really did.
From your heart.
First of all, of course, Asians that would come up and say, "You got to win this for us. You got to win." And then you're standing there going, "I will try my very best. I don't know how I got it, but I hope." And it really resonated to me how much it meant, not just to in America, but globally to Asians. Oh,
I know. It's so beautiful, Michelle, because it's also the role you played was so special in that respect as well, for so many reasons.
Yeah.
It's so rare that a woman of a certain age, Evelyn, who owns a laundromat, who is a Chinese American immigrant, gets to be a lead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's true. I mean, she is, if you go into Chinatown in any of the major cities, they're there everywhere. They're not seen, they're not heard, they're not actually given any attention. They're almost like voiceless. And at that time when they had the China hate thing, it was like, this is wrong. How do you, just do that to another fellow human being? So it was very interesting. And I think what it was very important at that time was like, these immigrants have been in America forever, right? That's what America is made of, immigrants.
Yes.
That's how it is. And to be able to tell a story that is about not just a period piece, not like Crouching Tiger, where it, not like Shogun, not like something like that, where it's about the periods past, gone, long past. But today, they're so relevant to all of us, to be included, to be seen, to be embraced for our differences. And that was indeed very, very special. And I remember when the Daniels, when they wrote the script, she was called Michelle Wang. And the first thing I said to them, no, you do not call her Michelle, because Evelyn, she is her own person.
Yeah.
And she deserves to be seen and heard as who she is. Because every time you say Michelle, you would think of, is Michelle Yeoh trying to do this as another person? And I always believe that that is how we should take that approach, is that we have to be honest. We have to be brave enough to say, well, some people might not like it or appreciate it, but guess what? It's a reality, it's a fact, and we should see it. If you don't see it, you will never understand it.
So powerful. And
I'm very, very...
No, I felt it too. And it's so moving hearing you speak about it. I wonder if I could take you back to growing up in Malaysia, surrounded by this beautiful nature.
Yeah.
Did you have an instinct that your life was going to be meaningful in some way?
I always felt loved. I always felt happy. Malaysia is a very beautiful country in the sense that it is very multiracial. So to be honest, when I was growing up, we grew up with Chinese, with the Malays, with the Indians, with the expats. So we embraced our different cultures. We celebrated all our different cultures. So when I was growing up, I'd never thought that one day I would be on the silver screen. My mother again, she was a big factor in the why I love movies so much. Because as a child, we would go to all kinds of movies, like Indian movies, Malay movies, Chinese movies in all the different languages. Horror stories, like I grew up with Dracula, okay?
Yeah.
I think she traumatized me. But and as I was watching the screen, I never thought one day that's what I want to do. I want to be able to do that. It never crossed my mind. I was very single-minded in the fact that I wanted to do ballet. I wanted to be in the world of dance. I wanted to have my own school. I would go back to Malaysia. I come from Ipoh, this very small mining city, and have my own school. So that was my dream at that point. I'm a small town girl. But my dad, he made us think wider. He made us think beyond the borders. He made us believe that, the most important thing is education in his mind. But he never limited us to say, he's a lawyer by profession, that you have to be I think a lot of especially for Chinese Asian families. It's like you have to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, an academic, something that is stable. Then you don't have to worry about making money, and you'll be able to pay the rent, or have a stable life. And whatever you want to study, it's your choice, because at the end of the day, it's your life. And at that point, even during my divorce, he was the one who stood up for me.
Wow.
And he turned around and said, no, if he is not the right man for you and he doesn't appreciate you the way he should. And it wasn't Dixon's fault or my fault, but it was just a reality of the situation as such. And my dad was like, this is your home, whatever you decide to do is your choice. And so he always instilled that in us, even as a child. So I went, then I want to go to England, because ballet was from the Royal Academy of Dance, right? It's from England. And so my dream was like, I want to go to England to see it for real, to the Royal National Theatre, to do all that. And he goes like, okay. And in fact, when I was offered a contract in Hong Kong, after all the injury, going back to Malaysia, winning the title, and then I still wanted to go back to England. And then I was offered to do a commercial with Jackie Chan in Hong Kong. And while I was there, the film company offered me a contract. And I was 22, I thought, no, my parents will definitely not. I think they would not agree, because I would be by myself there. I held the contract in my hand for like 2 days. I was like, how do I go to my dad and say, I would like to try this? Because it's not a subject that I studied. I've never been in a movie before. I didn't study it. In the end, you gather up all the courage. And it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? No. Right? No? Okay. So I went to him, and he looked at the contract. The first thing he said, oh, this is like a slave contract. Then I said, that's why I need you, Dad. But he didn't say no. He turned around and said, when do you want to go? So that's how I started my career in Hong Kong.
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
Well, you started this career, you were cast in this commercial with Jackie Chan, then that led on to your movie career.
Correct.
And that brings us on to your second failure, which actually is a sort of failure of a system, which is that you kept being offered very stereotypical roles in Hollywood.
Yes.
So
in Hong Kong at the beginning.
Okay, tell me about this.
It's similar, I think, everywhere, how they put all of us women in a certain box, especially, and in Hong Kong at that time, action movies were predominantly all about the guys and saving the damsel who are in distress. And then you sit there and you go like, why do I need saving? What is it about that that's so... It's okay, it's heroic for the guys, but for us, it's kind of boring.
Yes.
Right? So, and I was very fortunate. There was some smart, successful women in Hong Kong in the business. And they all turn around and say, it's true. We bring a girl who is not from Hong Kong, and yet you want to put her in the box exactly like how we put all the other of our girls. So then and I said, I would love to try action. Because the first movie, I played the damsel in distress. I watched the guys, do their stunts and action sequences, the incredible Sammo Hung and George Lam. And then I realized this is very much like dance. It's choreography, it's movement, it's speed, it's the dynamics of the body and all those kind of things. So then when I said that, I think the company was also, it was new. Fairly new company. And so they were also trying out things. And in Hong Kong, in that golden era of filmmaking, it was action movies, comedies were the biggest hits. So my Cantonese, and I don't read Chinese at all. So how could I do comedy without being able to say the language? So I felt that my physicality would be something I could tap on to give me a leg up, find a way rather than be the damsel in distress. That was my key point. And so they said, okay, we'll let her try. If it doesn't work, we'll put her back in the box.
You're so cool. So then what was it like working with Jackie Chan? What's the best piece of advice Jackie Chan gave you?
No. Jackie he's a little macho, you know. He really believes that women needs to be protected. So when we did our movie together, he was always going like, no, 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 don't let her jump on the motorcycle. Because partly, which to be fair to him, when I took that motorcycle and jumped on the train,
one of the most legendary stunts of all time that you did
now
yourself.
I would never do it again. I mean, at that time we did stunts that when we were dubbing the movie in English, I go like, ow, what was I thinking? And you're hanging in the side of the van. It was for real. And the number of times the near misses, the cars come at you at that point. And because Jackie was thinking, if you do this, I have to do that just to be on the same. And it's true, right? After all, he is poor Jackie. So I always tease him. It was like, well, I'm doing it.
You made it difficult for him. So,
why should I make it easy for him?
Exactly. So that was just the early days of your career. Then you were known as Michelle Khan, is that right?
Yes.
And then you got cast in Tomorrow Never Dies. And I hear that Barbara Broccoli gave you advice.
Yes. It was really funny. I was on holiday in Italy. And so Barbara said, she will come and meet me, have a first meet. And I love this woman to death. She really is such a champion for women. I was traveling with a group of friends and my surname is Yeoh, right? So she went to the desk and said, okay, Michelle Khan. And they go like, Khan what? Who? So for the longest of time, she went through so she checked, she Googled, it was King, Khan, because my Chinese name is Yeoh Chu King. And we always put our surnames first, which is Yeoh. In England, they would put Chu King Yeoh, right? So when I was studying here, I didn't have Michelle. My friends called me Chu, which is short for Chu King, right? Chu was easier. They'd be like teasing me, going, Chu! So everybody knew my name and remembered it. So finally, we found each other. And when I eventually got cast to play Wei Lin in Tomorrow Never Dies. And Barbara and I have become fast and firm friends from then. And she said, what's all this nonsense about Khan? And it's not even your name. Why would you have that name? And I go, well, because I was advised when I was in Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong, they call me by my Chinese name, Yeoh Ji. But once the name had to go on the posters for Europe and for elsewhere for distribution outside of Hong Kong, when they put Yeoh Chu King, everybody goes like, what is this? Actually, okay, sidebar, I am so proud of my Korean friends who have stuck to their Korean names. You know, kudos to you, because that's your identity. That's who you are. But, you know, when I was first in Hong Kong, I had to listen to advice from people who have been in the business, who are in the marketing field. And so then we said, how about King? But King, no, that doesn't sound like your name. Yeoh. I said, Yeoh is a one syllable. How difficult it is it? It's just that when you look at it, a lot of people go like, yeah, and I go, oh my God, they really destroy my name. So that's why they said, okay, let's have a Chinese sounding Khan, right? So I was like, okay, because you never get to go to Europe to promote your films at that time. It was all focused really mainly in Asia. And it was for the first time I saw my name, and it was next to this voluptuous woman with long wavy hair, looking very Caucasian actually. Didn't look like me at all. And that was my name, Michelle Khan. And we're going like, oh, because they had to market it in such a way that it was attractive.
What a strange experience for you.
Oh, yes. But, you know, I think at that point, the people who were marketing the film, they wanted to be included. They wanted, that was the best way to sell the movie.
Different times.
Thank God those days are over. Thank goodness.
Tomorrow Never Dies, one of my favourite Bond movies, and you reclaim your name on the advice of Barbara Broccoli.
Yes.
But then what happened after that? Because the roles you were then being offered after Tomorrow Never Dies pigeonholed you, didn't they? And for 2 years you didn't accept any of them.
Yes, you're right. Because, you know, after a Bond movie, you would imagine, and yes, a lot of things come your way. But at that point in Hollywood, it was still, how many faces do you remember of that era? That was maybe
exactly.
The Last Emperor. That was like, and then the Joy Luck Club, which was
Yes.
more than 30 years ago, that had, I mean, the people who really did very well was like Lucy Liu, because she's amazing. But it was so far and in between. So the roles that Asian actresses, or looking like me, or actors even, were offered were, because that was the first time when it struck me. Suddenly I was a minority. I never, growing up in Malaysia, going into Hong Kong and all those kind of things, it's not a word that we even use. When I first arrived there and go like, oh, you're a minority. I'm like, what does that even mean? You know how many billions of Asians there are around the world?
Yes.
And how many there are in the US itself. It's like, at that time, if you think about it, there were no pairing of what they would say to minorities. And I had a good friend who was a incredible director, and he said to me, honestly, I would love to cast you, but because once we cast a minority who's the lead, you have no chance.
Wow. So this is the 1990s we're talking about. So what were the kind of roles you were being offered?
The very stereotypical. They had to find a reason why an Asian person would be in that role. So easy, Chinatown, right? Or a waiter in a Chinese restaurant. So it always has to be explained. The most important thing is to be seen doing ordinary things, normal things, and even positions of power. In the past, we had to fight for women to be in positions of power. For the longest of time, we didn't even get a chance to have a seat at the table. And we had to fight to change the whole dynamics, the whole way of thinking. And it's an ongoing battle. It's not a done deal. I mean, when we made Crazy Rich Asians, the last all Asian cast was Joy Luck Club, which was 26 years ago. And the Crazy Rich Asians came out in 2018. So can you imagine that beating rom-com, all Asian cast? No chance. But we did it because I think our audience is much more embracing and willing and wanting to see their friends, there are people up there. And that's the only way you can have a true, real exchange of culture and acceptance.
Do you now, Oscar-winning actress, Michelle Yeoh, superstar, do you experience racism?
I would be lying if I say no. I'll put it delicately, because they dare not show us very direct racism, because of the position I'm in right now. Maybe 5 years ago, even then, you would face it. You'd see the people go like, what's this Asian person doing here? I think the distribution of wealth has helped as well. But unfortunately, it's quite apparent still today when you have, in America, when you hear of Asian older women get punched in the face for just walking down the street, and just because young girls or boys get harassed and bullied because they're Asians. I don't understand to date why it's still happening. So that's why when a movie like what we've done with Wicked comes out, where we encourage people to see it's beautiful to be different, because that's how we are all made. All of us are different. And we should not be, I think one of our worst human traits is we're judgmental. We like to judge. We like to be like above. I don't know why. We always think that we have to be better and be able to tell the other person or put them down or whatever it is. I think that is something I hope that we all learn, that an act of kindness or compassion goes a long, long way in our world, and we are in so desperate need of that.
Your final failure is a specific stunt accident.
Oh, I don't see it as a failure. I think I see it. You see, don't mistake that for being reckless. Because I still love doing my own stunts, and I still do today. Now I am not afraid to turn around and say, let my stunt double do it. That's why she's here for. And to be honest, because you're only physically capable of certain things, right? At the end of the day, you are an actor. And I remember even when we were doing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Ang Lee was always, he would really get pissed off when people say, oh, she's a stunt act, she's an action actor. And he would go like, no, she's an actress, okay? It's just because she knows how to do some action. It doesn't make her just a stunt actor. With time, I've learned that you have to protect yourself. And remember, this is for entertainment. None of us should ever get hurt. And unfortunately, one of our movies, and how ironic, it was my kudos, my homage to the stunt people, because I was playing a stunt woman. And I wanted to go behind the scenes and show the audiences, those people that makes us look so good. That it's a tough life, and especially in Hong Kong at that time, because the stunts were real. I mean, I used to hate the horror stories where they said, we know that someone's going to get hurt. The van is ready to take him or her to the hospital. And you go, but why? That was the safety measures were just not up to par. Unlike what it is today, thank God. It was so bad, everybody thought I broke my back.
What do you mind saying what happened? Is it a traumatizing thing?
In this scene, the stunt woman had left that kind of career because she felt it was going nowhere. She was getting hurt and all these kind of things. But then she failed in her business and she had to come back to do stunt work again. And Sammo Hung, bless him, he's the actor, but also the mentor of this stunt woman. So he knew that she had to get back on the horse and do the stunt. And don't hesitate. One thing you should never do is hesitate. When you agree to do it, you have to be committed and see it all the way through. Even if you're hurt, you have to see it all the way through. And I think one of the best stories is Tom Cruise.
Yes.
You remember when he did that jump?
Yes.
He broke his ankle.
Yes.
But when he got up, he limped out of it. Can you imagine if he broke it and he went, ow, 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 ow? That couldn't have been used. So in that way, if you punch someone accidentally, which you shouldn't, you should see it through, because unfortunately it's done.
I love you. Okay.
So in this scene, the big stunt was her jumping off, and Sammo pushes her off this. And it's in a flyover, and she lands on a big truck that's moving by. It's like a 30-foot fall. Mm-hmm. And, we do it with wire, land, everything is good. So now we do have to do a close-up. So it's off maybe a little higher than here, about 15 feet. And all I do is, that was the mistake, because the camera was close up. So it wasn't about the stunt. All it was like, he pushes me and I fall off frame like this. But because they were filming from down here, I had a longer way to go. And my bad was like, when he pushed, I tumbled, but I was still trying to act.
Right.
Instead of going, no, what? You have to flip.
Yes.
And so I landed head into, and we don't have like the airbags. We have cardboard boxes and like a couple of mattresses on top. And in fact, if you land like this on the mattress, it's like this. It's solid, right? So all I felt was my head going into here. My legs came from behind me and went. Exactly.
They hit your back.
They hit the top of my head.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so everybody, my poor director, Anne Hui, the incredible Anne Hui, this was so poor Anne. I convinced her to do an action film, but she's a dramatic, amazing drama director. And so this was her first thing into the action with some kind of action. She was literally I landed here and she was standing where you are. And I turned around and your whole body is on fire. And I saw her and she was there just in shock with tears streaming down her face. And poor Sammo, he was up in the flyover about 15 feet away. And I heard him call me by my own name, not Michelle, but Chu King. And I thought, oh, shoot. something is really
So your body is on fire. That's
on
how you,
fire. Everybody thought, this is it.
you made it through, and then you were in a full body cast.
Yes.
For how long?
Oh my God. It was quite a few months because, the cracked ribs and all that is nothing. But all fortunately, I was so flexible. I think if I wasn't so flexible, I would have, at the back, would have just. And so it was, at that point, you review, and my best girlfriends, because I was in Hong Kong. Oh my God, they would march into the hospital room and just gave me a earful. It was like, why are you doing this? Why do you need to do this? Look at you now. We can't help you. You can't help yourself. You know that you could be a lot worse. La, 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 la. And I'm like, how about some sympathy, girl? But they were right. And then you think like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I should not go and do these kind of risky things. It was a little bit of a turning point. It's like, maybe I should skewer away from doing movies or, find some other things and when you're in the hospital and when you've got all those drugs in you, it's depressing, and your body is just going like, I can't do anything. I can't even lift my arm or my leg or anything like that. It was not a happy time.
But then someone visited you, didn't?
Yes.
Who visited you?
Quentin Tarantino. Today I have to thank him. I have to thank him for being so relentless because he came to Hong Kong and he said, I want to meet da 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 da, and one of them was me. And I am a huge fan of his. Any time I would have, wherever he was, I would have gone to see him. But you're in a cast. You're thinking. And your mindset is also, no. But he was like, just give me 5 minutes. I just want to say hello. Da, 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 da. So finally he came to the house. And I remember I was sitting downstairs in our living room and he came bounding, literally, he's tall and striding down the staircase. He's like, Michelle. He picks up a pillow, drops him I'm sitting there and he plops himself down and he starts talking about, how much he loved my work and what, how it was there. And he literally, frame for frame, he reminded me of some of the stunts that I did and all that. So the next thing I knew was he made me realize why I loved filmmaking so much. It's a passion. It's not just a job. Think, okay, just tailor your passion.
Gosh, I could listen to you for days. You've had such an incredible life and it feels like you're only just getting started still.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, if I could ask you to look back at these 3 specific failures from your vantage point now, what do you think they taught you?
When I was coming onto your program, that was the one thing. When I look at these 3 things, I go like, they're not failures, Yes, it's something that happened in your journey in your life. Like we say, there are ups and there are downs. But each of this segment taught me to be more resilient, taught me to be smarter, taught me how, yes, there are certain things that I will have to continue to deal with, to overcome it, And there are certain things that you go like, it's okay, moving on.
Always in motion.
Always. Yes. I don't think the time for me yet is to come to a standstill. I still think there are so many different things that I'm still learning and hoping to do.
Do you think that's what keeps you so young at heart whilst also being a wise soul? Do you think that's partly why this sort of zest that you have for discovery, for learning, for forward motion, that's important? I think
yes, that has a great deal to do with it. I think having the right people around you has a lot to do with it because they inspire me. They help me to see things in a different way. Having people who love you for who you are. I mean, that is like my husband. He doesn't try to change me. So I have people around me who have we have great respect for each other. We cajole each other. We bully each other to have the best outcome. And I think that is very important, that you find your people. Because, you don't walk alone. please don't walk alone. Walk with people who respect you, love you, and you have a much better time.
Michelle Yeoh, I am so thrilled to have met you. Thank you for coming on How to Fail.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Please do follow How to Fail to get new episodes as they land on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please tell all your friends. This is an Elizabeth Day and Sony Music Entertainment original podcast. Thank you so much for listening.